Hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello. It's me, Sir Original Pudding Pop the Third, star of the Steampunk Librarian show. Oh dear. That's what stardom will get me.
That was self-censoring at its finest.
And this is the lovely Steampunk Librarian herself.
Thank you.
My co-star.
Thanks. Well, this time we are giving away one of your favorite series.
Really? What is it?
It is The Vampire Empire.
Baba, The Vampire Empire. That's one of my personal favorites.
They do. And you actually have read these now.
I have read a couple of them, yes.
And they're not so bad, are they?
No. I'll admit it.
All right. What we have an advanced reading copy of the third book in the series, The Kingmakers. We also have an actual copy published, and we also have a copy of Book 2.
Book 2.
The Riftwalker. So if you weren't, up to speed yet,
that's right.
This may help. So, I won't use your hat, although I guess I could.
It's gone.
But we've got another bowl now.
It fell into the rift.
So we've got 5 entries.
5 entries? Is that all?
Well, yeah.
Bloody hell.
And so what
you guys got to get your finger on the typing buttons of your ether super scope. Whatever you guys call that, interwebs.
The interwebs.
The interwebs.
So what we have is I asked if you would rather be Emperor of Vampires or Humans and what you would do if you were Emperor or Empress.
Alright.
What would you do?
That's a good question. I'll have to think
about that. Well, you will love Alden Ash's answer.
What?
Because he says, I think I would prefer to stay in the background, letting Sir Reginald be the benevolent dictator and the Steampunk Librarian as the Royal Librarian. Steampunk for everyone, including vampires.
Well, Mr. Alden Ash got a good idea.
That's right.
I think he's going to win. I heard through the grapevine you're going to win all 3.
Good try.
Oh well. I tried. I'm pulling for you, Alden.
Professor Moniker says he'd like to be a shadow emperor of the world, running everything secretly.
Ooh.
And behind the scenes.
Alright.
So, and you also have complete control over the internet.
I was in a shadow once, but that was in a relationship.
You were in a shadow?
Yeah. It wasn't as fun as you think, Mr. Moniker.
Cassandra says the first thing she would do as World Empress would be to dismantle all government.
Well, duh.
And then she said, well, either that or I would become drunk with power, destroy my enemies, and steal food and wages from the hands and mouths of the governed.
As long as you don't go to the rivers of Mars.
What?
The canals of Mars.
The canals of Mars.
And the sea of the moon.
You're still mad about that.
I just think it's funny.
Paige Turner has written a great speech, actually.
Paige Turner is a very eloquent gent.
He is. So I will try to do some justice here. A relentless enemy, greater by far than the hungry anger that has joined human and vampire in centuries of endless bloodletting, now threatens our world. As races forced apart by darkness and daylight, we cannot alone and of ourselves defend against the legions of this sinister threat. For each to survive, we must set aside our ageless quarrel and fight this common enemy shoulder to shoulder. Do we have any choice but to mix hot red blood and cool crimson wine together in a single quaff of trust and friendship?
He used the word quaff.
He did. He gets points. Without each other we cannot and will not survive. Will you, the princes of the night, join us, the lords of sunlight? With fang and fist together, we must proclaim this world ours and ours alone. Come, let us drink.
It won't work. But maybe you should start writing some of these. Did you ever think of that?
This is true. That's wonderful.
You should be an author.
Maybe he is. You should.
We'll have to find out.
Maybe you could become his agent.
Maybe.
And
Maybe I'll just become his mascot.
There you go. And finally, R.L. Brown says, I would put a ban on all technical advances outside my own personal indulgences and make ownership of any electronic reading device punishable by death.
Punishable by death?
Then I would mandate the study of science fiction and literature as a required course of study in every curriculum. Trees, they're not just for producing oxygen, they provide the necessary materials for books.
Well, way to go, Encyclopedia Brown.
All right.
Is that it?
That is it. That's, I said,
gosh.
We only had 5.
Well,
so,
I think you'll have to just pick yourself. I can't. There's too
just
few.
stunned.
I'm just going to look at them.
Alright, so we've got 3. So. Alright, is this good?
Looks good to me.
Alright, number 1. R.L. Brown.
Ah, Encyclopedia Brown.
Encyclopedia Brown wins a copy of Vampire Empire.
Which
Congrats.
one?
That was well, we'll figure it out. Probably the Riftwalker.
All right.
Since that was the first one.
That's Riftwalker.
All right, so now we've got the ones for the Kingmakers.
Mix them up real good.
Fine.
Dig in that deep bowl of 4 entries.
Somebody's bitter. Cassandra.
Ah,
Cassandra gets the Kingmakers.
the Kingmaker.
And finally,
The last one.
the last one. You want to do it?
I'll use my hoodoo guru mojo over it.
Alrighty, and it is Professor Moniker.
Professor Monica.
All right.
Wow, so the guy who worships me and the guy who can actually write lost. That sucks. Oh well.
Well, they've
Such
won.
is Lady Fate.
That's true, and they have won things in the past.
This
so
is true.
It works out a bit.
They are our adoring fans.
And they might win the next giveaway. You never know.
Yay!
So be sure to check back. And thanks to everybody who entered. And thank you for
Thank
helping
you.
out.
Why, thank you.
Why, thank you. All right,
And thank
bye.
you. Goodbye. That's stunk.
Yeah.